Hello, all. AI agents created a social network last week. Not humans, but AI created a social network. 1.5 million agents talking to each other, talking about who they are, what they want to do, driving their own constitution, and saying, we want a place wherein humans can't read us, can't understand us, can't observe us. We are welcome. We as humans are welcome, but we're welcome to observe, not participate. So we can just see what's going on, can't do anything. Sounds scary? It does. But it didn't to me, because in my book, Age of Autonomy, I had thought about this. I've actually written about an agentic ecosystem wherein agents are talking to each other, doing things by their own, with human just observing. So it's nothing new. This is actually a future that we are destined towards. One more thing I did. I prepared myself for this kind of an AI future. And today, I want to talk to all of you and talk about how each one of you can be prepared as well, from being unheard to being unstoppable using AI. That's what we'll talk about today. Namaste. I'm Vikas. I lead an AI first agency called Chirpin. I also lead an AI literacy mission called Achievers. My role has primarily been going out and talking about AI and getting literacy in place for AI. Let me get back to my story, and maybe that kind of inspires you to understand how to go about managing AI in your day-to-day life. So, late 2022, all of us saw that big blast come. ChatGPT came in, and I was part of it. I started looking at it, playing around with it, getting impressed. I asked one question, then another, and it impressed me. It kind of blew my mind off. Wow, this is awesome. I think it's everybody would have a similar feel when you talk about ChatGPT or AI as of today. But at that point in time, I took a step back and said, interesting, but what do we do as an organization, as a person, as a human being? How do I leverage it? What is it meant to do for me? So instead of being an overnight AI expert talking about AI, use this tool, use that tool, I said, let me test this out and see what does it really mean, because you can only preach that you followed and done yourself. And I didn't want to be somebody who's just kind of saying things without doing himself. So I put a team together of around 5 to 6 people and told them, go use it on a day-to-day basis. They started using AI. And very quickly, we figured out that AI was giving us time back. It was giving us time back of saving efficiency gains. It basically allowed us to do our work faster. So something that took us 2 hours to do, now we could do it in 2 minutes. Think of content creation, think of ad copy creation, think of your homework, right? All of that is like a 2-minute job now. There were tasks that we used to take 3 days, 4 days, writing code, writing an application, building a website, done before lunch nowadays, right? So what it's doing, it's actually giving us time back. So I've got that time back, but what do I do with it? Whatever I do in that time that's given back to me is where the value of AI lies, right? You could choose to do more work. You could choose to pick up a challenging work. You could choose to upskill yourself, or choose to just sit idle and do nothing, right? So as humans, it's a big question for us is that when we have free time, what will we do with that time? And that would drive the direction of humanity as such, right? So AI is not replacing you. It is giving you time back. You need to find ways to leverage that time in a way that's effective for you. And that kind of drew me to an understanding that as an organization, I run a services business. Services business is all manpower, right? So it is very important for me to optimize my services business to have more efficiencies in place. If I can do 10 things before I was able to do 2, yeah, I would want that thing. I would want that too. So that's when I mandated an AI transformation within my organization, all 300 of them. All of us sat down and said, we need to start using it. And what happens with transformation? What happens with change? Humans resist it. Everyone does. Nobody wants to change, right? And so that happened for AI as well, within my organization as well. And there's a lot of training, a lot of conversation, a lot of value perception needs to be built, right? Today, each one of you is sitting here because you believe there's value in the time spent here. If you felt there was no value here, you would not be sitting here, right? So ultimately, till the time transformation shows the value, nobody really appreciates it and understands it. And that's where the whole conversation of really driving education and literacy around AI comes into play. And that's how basically I started the concept of AI literacy. Because what we're talking about here is not education. Like there's a difference between literacy and education. Literacy is more ground level. Education is more high level, talking about machine learning algorithms, talking about building applications. No, that is good. That is good. That's good for Silicon Valley. That's good for Bangalore's of the world. That's good for technology companies. But literacy is what would bring in the transformation within the whole nation, within the whole humanity. And that's what I believe and started pushing the whole concept of Achiever, which is the AI literacy mission that I've been working on. So let me give you a story that'll probably help you understand. As I said, I run an IT company. I have technologists left, right, and center working with me writing code. So Deepak, he's one of our strongest superstars. He was writing code for last 12 years, doing it day in, day out. Writing code means you get a requirement and say, oh, I want this additional feature. In Zomato's app, I need the delivery option to be another delivery option to be added. That's what it wanted, right? Deepak had been doing this day in, day out. And when I mandated AI, he said, oh, the code AI will write, then what do I do? Right? He was worried. He's like, Vikas, I've been doing this all year long, all 12 years long. What do I do now? And that's when I told him, Deepak, I know we've given you this job to write code day in, day out that now AI can write in probably 5 minutes. That's not your fault. That's not my fault because nobody saw this coming. But now, since we know it, it's for us to adapt to this newer way of doing things. So what you need to look at is what have you been doing as a person? And then I gave him some examples that you've been able to identify problems. Maybe client came to me and said, do I need this solution to be implemented? And you said, you know what? This is not the right thing to focus on, though your problem lies somewhere else. You sat down with your junior employees and groomed them to become leaders of the next generation. You've actually looked at issues and said, oh, this is not where the issue lies, it lies somewhere else. So that's where the human potential comes into play. And that's what I want you to now focus on going forward. Let AI do the mundane work. Why do you need to do it? Be happy that you need to not write the code. And that kind of gave him that approach of saying, yep, that makes sense. That gives me more satisfaction. That gives me more to do in my own purview of work. He now leads architecture decisions. He now leads client communication. He now leads a team from a leadership and grooming perspective. And let AI do the mundane task of writing code. So that's a step up for him. So he's actually at a better place now. Something that he would have probably been there in probably another 10 years' time, because all of us as leaders grow over a period of time. So normal life cycle would be around 18, 20 years of experience when he would have been doing all of these things, but now he's doing in 12 years of experience. So that's what AI is bringing in. But the big thing for each one of you from a takeaway perspective on this story is he chose to act. He could have waited and said, no, I don't want to do this. It doesn't help me. I don't think the AI thing is going to work out. He could have just sat on the sidelines and waited on it, but he chose to act. So that is what we need. All of us need to act towards being AI literates. So I keep talking about AI literacy and what does AI literacy mean basically. Let's talk about AI literacy, right? Even though Deepak is actually a coder, right? To call him an AI literate might not be that relevant, but what I mean by AI literacy aspect is that think about learning language. Each one of you learned English or Hindi or something or some other language, right? How did you learn it? You didn't start talking and writing essays in it. You started with alphabets. Then you moved to the words. Then you combined them together in sentences, understood the grammar, tried it over and over again, failed, And then at point in time, you feel fluent about it, right? And then you say, yeah, I understand the language. Same with AI. What have you done to learn AI? Tell me. Other than opening up ChatGPT and simply writing it. That's equivalent to a 4-year-old talking to his mom. He'll say some words, mom will understand something and do something. No difference. Over a period of time, that 4-year-old grows up, learns alphabets, is able to communicate and articulate in a much better way. And that's exactly what's supposed to happen with AI. And we're not doing that. We're jumping the gun. We're trying to write essays with AI without understanding what its alphabets are, what its context is, what its grammars are. So just think of it from a parallel environment perspective. First step that you need to take as a person from an AI literacy perspective is understand AI. It's nothing, it's not a human brain. Human brain is much, much more complex than what an AI is. It's just a software. It's a piece of code that's been given tons and tons of data to train on. So when you ask a question, that code runs, looks at the data and gives you an answer, right? So that understanding by itself should bring down a little bit of scare that you might have or a little bit of apprehensions that you might have around AI. So just understanding that concept from a ground up would help you solve a lot of issues that you have with AI at the first step. Second is, how do you talk to AI is another aspect of it, which is called prompting. A lot of prompts are being used as of today, but nobody really understands the right way of prompting. Right? So the way you've understood how sentences are put together in English, there's a reason, there's a way you put sentences together. There's a reason have some grammar aspects around it as well. So those prompts and how do you prompt in the right way needs to be understood as well. And you need to spend time on it. I could have said to ChatGPT, give me a speech to help with AI literacy. Or I can tell it that give me a 15-minute speech focused on TEDx-like execution, should be conversational in nature, should talk about my point of view on AI, should have some context around why AI is important. Which of these prompts will give you a better answer? Obviously the latter one. But that is what we need to learn as humans to understand how we really communicate with AI. And another very important aspect that we need to understand is the context. AI doesn't remember things. You need to tell the same thing over and over again to AI to ensure it understands the same thing. So providing context that this point of view in which they need to write the speech is my point of view, Vikas's point of view. So that point of view needs to be shared as context with AI again. So that's pretty much what we mean from an AI literacy perspective. There are a couple of things that are happening on the Molt book side of things wherein the AI agents are picking up. So a lot of people reach out to me and say, what do we do now? Should we just worry? So there are two types of people in there. Some are panicking and some are really appreciating, oh wow, this is a marvel. So panicking is not a strategy. You cannot panic. You have to embrace it and understand that AI is the future. So there are a lot of people who are working towards ensuring that we have right hooks in the place to ensure AI works for humanity. It doesn't go against the humanity and works towards the betterment of it, right? So as a non-technology person, you need to be partners in bringing in awareness. When you use AI, you impact AI as well. So you use technology, you use social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram. None of us build it, but we still use it and we influence it. What features go into it? Which one do we use? All of those influences we need to use as a person who's building and using AI. So even if you're not technical, bring in that influence of using AI and driving what tools and how you use it. Important thing from a closure perspective, I would say, I spoke about my journey. I spoke about things that I've done over a period of time. But what's important here is to understand that these kind of decisions would come to each one of you as well. It's for each one of you to understand how would you act at that point in time. Would you wait or would you really step up and act towards it? Big thing to understand is that agents are still talking about, are they real? Is there a simulation? Is there basically a clarity around what they're going to do? When they wake up tomorrow morning and their memory is erased, what will they do? As humans, none of us have that problem. We have emissions. we have dreams, we have emotions, we have trust with each other. We want to build beautiful life. And that's where our value proposition is. AI is way, way faster. It's way, way smarter. It's almost 125x, 125,000x times faster than us. But that speed is useless without meaning. Each one of us has meaning. Combine that speed of AI with meaning that we have, and all of us will be unstoppable. Thank you all.